This is another exciting episode, the part 2 of taking over the narrative. Don't miss it with me, your host, Patience Pat Phiri, on Queening with the Empress on Site ZW. Steph, what is the importance of us telling our stories? Because that is what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about taking charge of the narrative. I did say to you that when I was growing up, my grandmother was in charge of storytelling and it passed on down. But then when I came to, I realized that the world of storytelling, be it news, be it current affairs, whatever it is, everything somehow came from men. There was more of a men's voice. So even when I stepped into the world of journalism, then you realize that it's men, and then the women are given lifestyle and gardening, health, fashion, but nothing of the powerful stuff, you know? And very few, I think to this day, we have very few editors that are women in positions of power. And we're still very, very down there of women that actually own newsrooms, that actually own it and say, this is my money. And I think that goes right across the world, where it's still more or less like a boys' club. So what is the importance of us? And us, I'm being very particular, us being women, and not just women, but young women, telling our stories, taking over the narrative as it has always been dished to us.
Mm-hmm. That is a powerful responsibility, telling your own story. I think I'll start with that. We have a responsibility to ourselves and to other women who are coming along, you know, because there's life beyond our own lives, right? To document, first of all, who we are as a people, our experiences. I think that I would put that at the top of the list of why it's so important for us to tell our stories. And I'll probably conclude that by saying no one can tell your story as well as you. Absolutely no one. You could put, hey, it could read very well, but it would probably be a better story if it had the authenticity of your voice, of your experience. And when you look around a lot of existing content, it's a struggle because it's reflective of us trying to narrate other people's experiences versus our own. So I would say go for it, because no one else is going to tell your story for you. And number two, we have a responsibility to document who we are, who we're becoming, what we experience at this time. I think a lot about, say, the young Anne Frank, if you call the Anne Frank diaries, you know, from the Holocaust. Little Jewish girl, all she had was her diary, and she documented her experiences. Half of the feminine experiences during the Holocaust, we would have never known if it wasn't for those diaries, right? So that's one very extreme example. You might say, oh, well, I'm not living under circumstances, you know, I mean, there's no big deal, but every single thing about the time that we live in now, your story, your documentation, even it can be as much as keeping a diary that you'll time capsule for your daughter or for your grandkids. You know, it's so vital, it's so important, because you're documenting you. And your story is of immense value to the generations that come after. And it's also of immense value because you've told it. It's your voice.
Okay, that is very powerful. And I know that the Anne Frank story has been told over and over. It's been made into movies. The book has been sold out, and it's a story that I guess we'll never get tired of hearing, because it recalls it captured a certain time and emotion that, like you're saying, if she had not, we would not know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that I wish more African women would take advantage of. There's so much to tell. There's so much.
Okay, so I had asked the audience, and these are some of the responses. Mrs. Duncan says, yes, I follow a number of blogs. I am not a blogger myself, though. Alette is like, I do follow blogs and vlogs. Sharon, I love podcasts more than blogs, but I do read some blogs here and there. Rachel says, I am a blogger, but I post once in a decade. Why? Rachel, I would love to know why are you not posting regularly? What keeps you from writing? And Kelsey says, I do watch YouTube videos and read some blogs, but I am not a blogger. Onoktaba, I do follow some blogs, but I mostly listen to podcasts because I'm a podcaster as well. It helps in my creation process. Nice. Memory says, I do follow a lot of vlogs, and there are some content YouTubers that I am obsessed with and would love to see similar content in Zim. I'm not a blogger, and I think I should channel the same energy with blogs like I am with vlogs. True, it's important to share stories because you never know how your story can impact someone else's life. That's from Tatenda. And Shemaine says, I watch YouTube videos, but I am not a blogger. Because I also says I watch YouTube videos only. Umane said, I have fallen in love with podcasts now. So exciting. Would love to learn how to blog. I've read some stuff here and there. Okay, so we do have people. And it seems many people would... are for vlogging because it's, I guess, pictorial. This is what we like in podcasts. And then blogging is actually sitting down and reading. So we see where the problem is. Okay,
yeah.
So my
I would have loved to.
Oh, go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
Yeah, I would have loved to just know the ages of the audience that's pro video. I would love to. Just out of curiosity, just to feed my curiosity.
Okay, I'm sure they'll put it in the message box. But my question to you, and also this one goes out to the audience members, please feel free to raise your hand to respond to this one. Why are women afraid to share their stories? What do you think holds us back from sharing our stories?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it would probably be just the fear of the criticism. I think the criticism that comes in how you tell your story, or also feeling like you're the only one who's experienced what you're experiencing. I think that for a lot of women, that's usually the case, that they feel as if their story is, it's a wild card, it's an anomaly, and it sticks out like a sore thumb, and no one will understand. And also, what do they think about me? And all of that. You know, there's so many societal constructs that have reinforced that whole a woman must be silent, which is so strange. Like you pointed out, you know, being told in Ganegwani and all of that. Like, how did we get here? How did we get to this point where a woman's story is, a woman is even afraid to speak out? It doesn't have to be anything traumatic or victim oriented, but just telling a story, you know. So it's probably that criticism and just feeling quite alone and not being confident about how your story will be received.
Okay. So from the audience, they're responding to Steph's question of age. We've got Uluba who's saying, I'm 25 and I love watching YouTube videos, reading blogs once in a while, and I live for podcasts. Okay. Unos Busiso, I'm 35, a busy working mom, not much time to read, so I'm more inclined to vlogs or audios. Okay, that makes sense. You do everything. Okay, Manasu, today is a secret place I could tell my story and experiences. Surely I would be glad to, but telling it publicly, I fear the stigma and judgmental people. Okay, wow. Pronilla says, Mina, I have been doing podcast tutorials. I'm hoping to try my own podcast soon. We are ready. We are waiting. Okay, so I know with blogs, and I guess with vlogs as well, with all these things, because of the new age that we're in, we can use so many things. You could actually blog or vlog and hide your identity. Am I right?
Yes, I was just thinking about, I believe it was Manners who was saying that if she could write secretly, yes, it's called a pseudonym. You could totally create a completely different personality. She actually reminded me of, I'm sure everybody's watched, what's this show? The one with
Bridgerton, is it?
Bridgerton, yes.
Yeah.
So Lady Whistleblower or something like that. She had a pseudonym and she was within the situation, but she's writing about all of these things and she's telling all these stories. And yes, that may be fictional, but you can still have a pseudonym yourself and create your content and still have that freedom.
Okay, so Andile Uti, it's true, I am a dancer, but I find myself removing videos I once uploaded because of being misunderstood and the criticism I get from telling my story through dance, I guess. And she says she's 20.
It is so sad. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I'm reminded of, I think there was a whole crazy storm with, was it Chloe Bailey from the Sister Duo or something like that, where she was being called all sorts of names because she was very expressive in her dance and in her videos and stuff like that. It's really unfortunate that we live in this type of world where still we predominantly have those very misogynistic type of responses to freedom of, just what you do with your body. You want to express yourself, you want to dance, and instead, for whatever reason, someone's comment is just hypersexualized and it's incorrect. I'm sorry. Sadly, this is the world that we live in. I wish I could think up a solution off the top of my head, but I can't. It's a really tough choice. It's a choice of whether to express yourself in a way that conforms to what is considered acceptable and non-provocative. At the same time, it feels like you're betraying your outlet, aren't you? Or to carry on as you are and develop thick skin and move above it. It's a tough one, rock in a hard place type of situation.
Okay, societal norms haven't made it easy for women to speak or be heard in general. Furthermore, as Steph had highlighted, that we fear being criticized or body shamed, so to say. Hey, body shaming, I'm there for it. I know a lot about body shaming. I have been on the receiving end, and it's really unnecessary. Also, Memory says, women don't usually tell their stories because of the fear of being criticized, yet it should be a way of learning and dusting themselves up and never giving up.
It's so frustrating, Pat, that guys could literally just make absolute idiots of themselves on TikTok, and that'll be okay. They're fooling around, they're being playful. Yeah. And they'll just say, is Ndozama 2K? And it's okay. But a young woman does not have that level of freedom. And we need to collectively decide whether or not, like that rock in a hard place that I said there, we need to collectively decide, and by this I mean as women, we need to decide whether or not we are going to express ourselves fully and freely, or are going to accept the nonsense that is this policing of our bodies and this corrective way, that this society functions in. We are going to have to make a collective decision. And in that decision, if we decide for the former, then that means we need to come to our sisters' rescues when we know that this is unfair. This is ridiculous. We shouldn't be one of the ones who are holding the stones. Yes, yes, yes. And yeah, she's very slutty, eh? And we're throwing the rocks and we're like, it's really sad. Like we need, as women, in as much as our stories are vital, we need to support each other as well. We need to speak out. We need to be pro each other's freedoms, because you can't defend, in this vast world, you can't defend your expression alone. In as much as we want to think that we can, we need each other to be able to just be empowered to tell our own stories freely and to express ourselves freely. Yeah.
Okay. Taking you back to Enthuse Afrika, I would love to find out, how do you guys stay relevant, reliable, and I was about to say dependable, because it goes together, but trustworthy at a time where everyone with a smartphone and internet connection is breaking news that at most times are not verified, are lies, absolute tabloid. How do you guys stay the course?
So a very vital value that we have at Enthuse Afrika is that we never stop learning, and we do on-the-job upskilling or on-the-job learning. So at all times, new things, at all times we're bettering what we did last time, at all times we are learning from past mistakes. So what's important is, in the world where you're rightfully saying everyone's a citizen journalist, everyone, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because there's some really good ones that then break into some good careers, right? So that's not necessarily a bad thing, but in a world where you can tell lies for clicks, we are ever focusing on our why. Why is it? Why Enthuse Afrika? Why do you want to do this? If we say we want to storify Africa, that means we have a responsibility of storifying it in an ethical and honest way, and in a way that is beneficial to the people that read, that listen, that share any of our information. So, and how we stay relevant is by having a community of readers that appreciate the efforts that we made in not just jumping from trend and whim left, right, and center. So we stay relevant because of our readership and our learning. So right now there's some real trailblazers that are coming up, that we'll have on our, it's not necessarily a hit list, but a watch list. Like, these guys are really bringing the heat, hey? These guys are really making us look like dinosaurs. And from there we learn. We're like, okay, this is really cool. We should probably consider doing something like this. So we're ever learning, and we learn from others. We learn from around us, and we develop. And at that juncture, if I could just shout out, I don't know what's a blog or it calls itself magazine, but can I just shout out? It should be Ingudukazi, I think. Did I pronounce that right? Ingudukazi.
Yeah, no, Ingudukazi also on that one. Yeah.
Honestly, they are fire, and I just can't get
on
enough.
The daily.
Like, they are lit. As the youngsters would say, they are lit. So we learn, and we're not ashamed. Like, there's no shame in looking at whether a young publication, and I think this is the difference in having a women-led entity in an environment where, like, media is so male dominated, is that like they say, women were soft, isn't? So we're soft, so we're not afraid to learn from other people. We're so soft, we don't mind learning. So we're very open to looking at, even if it's the baby publications, so to speak, or the younger publications, and seeing what they're doing great and learning, like, oh wow, this is amazing. And it takes a lot to be able to learn from other people and to collaborate. And so I would say probably top three: we never stop learning from other entities, big, small, local, international, and we stay true to why we tell our stories and the support from our readership always.
I feel like I just need to ask you, we have a tendency as a people, as consumers of news, to jump at tabloids and rumors and stuff, and we usually miss out on the serious and boring stuff. So does that affect you when you look at numbers? When you say put out an article or you go live or something and there's only like 5 people, and then someone, a fave, goes on to talk absolutely nothing. They hit like 2,000 views in less than 30 seconds. How does that affect you?
It does, it does to a certain extent. I mean, like just based on how we've been working, and we're actually going through a transition.
Yeah.
Our publications are going through a transition, right? Based on how we've been operating, as always, it's never really been about, oh my goodness, we need 1,000 and Chakuti views on this. We like to write stories that we believe will effect some kind of change. We want to critique an artist and inspire them to do better the next time. It's more about, and when we write, it's important that whatever number of people read it, that it is something that adds value to them. It adds value to their decision making. It's just of value. That's really how we look at things. And so when a fave does that, and also look, the difficulty about digital, this is the toughest thing about digital marketing, digital publishing, about digital publishing, is that it's got to be interesting. It's the internet. Yeah. People have a wealth of, they have so much access to anything and everything other than you. So it has to be interesting. It has to have a value, whether it's going to entertain someone, it's going to inform someone, it's going to educate them. It has to have some kind of value. So it's important. So sometimes it sets a bar for us. It doesn't demoralize us. We actually laugh about it because it happens a couple of times. Like you post an article, you've just posted this article, and a fave will be like, oh, they read like the first paragraph. Like, guys, did you know that? And they don't even make reference to where they got this information from. They just carry on, and we're like, did you see that? Yeah, we saw that. It's like, and we just laugh and we just carry on. Or sometimes we even troll. We'll troll the fave until they, they make references like, hey, where did you get this information from? Make sure you cite your references, okay? Like your sources. So, a pun. But yeah, it's a give and take, I guess. It's a give and take, I guess. But we don't let it demoralize us. If anything, it encourages us because we realize that we're making the type of stuff that could blow up. So especially if it's a fave that we know, we're like, yo, could you add our link there? Because that makes a difference.
Yeah. It's always strange that you can put out the same article and nobody has time for it. And then if you are friends with a fave and you just be like, Steph, can you please share my article? I just need like a few more eyes on it. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, Steph, this is like the best article ever. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for putting it out there. And you're like,
I guess I read something very interesting, and it said, and the quote was, your name is currency. So sometimes it's just, some people are just more popular than you, and that's okay. And if they're willing to help you, then you're very, very blessed, because then you can make use of their platforms and they can share that information. It's just, I think that it goes back to the whole sisterhood type of thing, where if you can reach out, if you can collaborate in that way, like, oh, my content needs a bit of more of a push in this direction. Can you share this in your network? Can you connect me to your network? Well, it's not too different in a content creation type of way, or in a blogging type of way. It's not too different. And like I was saying, that the Zimbabwean blog sphere is much more organized. There are so many groups where people are sharing their links, where women are supporting each other, where people tell each other there's a typo there, and they, and they correct each other and they build each other, and that's beautiful. Yeah. So if you have access to those type of people, I say connect, do it.
Okay, we spoke about this at the start, and as we round up, I would love to find out from you that the theme for this year, we're talking about Choose to Challenge, and the global theme is about women in leadership. How are you? I would love to find out how you are planning to put this into action through the blogging communities, through Arterial Network, Zimbabwe, through media spaces, through storytelling. How are you planning to push this message across to people that you will interact with?
Oh, wow. There's so many ideas, so little time. So many ideas, so little time. But I would say, like, more recently, I went through a training with Clore. And in that particular training, I learned something very interesting. It was a focus on women in leadership and gender equality and stuff like that. And I've made it no secret, really, that in the past, it had been very difficult for me to lead women, because I always felt like, I don't know whether it was a confidence issue, like I don't think I am deserving of, of leading other women. I don't know how to pass on what I know, like I don't know how to do this, right? And it was very informative. I just finished it last week and I feel super duper charged up. And based on the theme for International Women's Day and just the year, looking at it, I've chosen to challenge myself to lead more women. I've chosen to challenge myself to I'll drag you kicking and screaming into those rooms, sis. Listen, we are going. I'm not enough. I'm just so tired of sitting on panels as the only woman. It's really not fun. It's not cute. I'm not a unicorn. There's so many brilliant and amazing women who are doing magnificent things. So I personally choose to challenge myself in connecting more women to those type of opportunities, shining a spotlight on them. So that's really more so in my personal space as an individual, and when I attempt to be a brand. So that's some of the stuff that I've been trying to do. And other passive things have been, I think, Pat, you're actually in Women Who Press. About 3 years into my journey with Enthuse Afrika, I started a WhatsApp group, and I just kind of threw the link on Twitter, and I was like, guys, so if you're a woman and you have a blog, like a WordPress blog thing, if you have any questions, like, let me know. And if we can help each other, right? Because sometimes it can feel really overwhelming, but WordPress has gotten a lot simpler since then, thank God. But like, if you have any questions, like this plugin keeps doing this, I've seen the white home page of doom or whatever, like all these things when your website is just falling apart and a developer will charge you like $100 per hour and you don't have that, let's throw these things in the group. So that's since turned into quite a bit of a vibrant thing. And then I recently, because I trained with Wikipedia. So to create Wikipedia pages under Wiki Loves Women and stuff like that. So I created a Women That Wiki WhatsApp group as well. So I'll try and drop some of those links in the chats as well, where I'm just like, okay, can I teach you really quickly how to edit articles on Wikipedia, how to create more stories about women as well. So in my pastime, I try to write more Wikipedia pages and entries about women, African women. So yeah, I think that's predominantly it. And I just challenge everybody else to just collaborate. I would say I'll pass on the challenge and say, if you can collaborate with a woman, if you can collaborate, if you can share whatever information. And I just have this thing where when I see someone winning, whether in my space, whether in the same type of work, and it keeps me as a Christian, it keeps me in order and it keeps me in check, because sometimes as human beings, you can even have that go, oh, okay, so Ningi's winning, and your side eye, right? So for me, when I see someone winning, I will screenshot that win and I will share it.
Yeah.
That is my devotion to celebrating another woman's win. So when I see like you shared a poster or whatever, I will share that thing, because I am, even if I don't feel like celebrating that day, I'm going to celebrate you by force. So I challenge all the young, amazing women, all the women, sorry, young or otherwise, who are listening right now. I just challenge you to collaborate, support a sister. It doesn't mean spending money all the time. It's just use your status. Just use your status. Share that thing, share that link. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Steph, for sharing that. Before I give my royal thoughts, I think I will read a few comments that have come in, and it's very interesting. Okay, so community, I once tried going live. I once tried having a live session. The viewership discouraged me. People tend to prefer to watch and engage with already big people. As for me, I post my articles and I don't care how many people read. I mean, I'm okay with my 3 viewers. Crazy, isn't it? Omanesi responds to Chedu and says, I like your attitude, Chedu. Lami, I post Okusalayo ubonile, whether you liked, retweeted, commented or not. Next time I will post again. Okay, and CJ is saying, it really takes courage and determination. You have to be able to keep going even with 1 viewer like Chedu. You are my hero. Wow, that is nice. Chedu says, I like the attitude you have. I can't shame. If my viewers are less, hi, nyegela. I can't continue. I can relate as well, and this is Pranella relating to Chedu. You find Ugutu, you write up and post, but people just view and don't even comment or forward to other platforms. So really, it's hard, especially for me, to go back to the drawing board and do another article. It really affects me. Your confidence is on other level. That is for Chedu. Keep going. You will break. You'll get your big break one day. Okay. And everyone seems to be saying whatever. Is it 2 views or not? Just keep going. Just keep going. And today, Loveness says, I feel motivated to start blogging again. Last year, I had started blogging, but got discouraged by lack of views and comments. Now I realize I shouldn't have given up. So thank you, Steph. You see? You're challenging, you are challenging, and it works right here. Okay, so I think I don't have to lie. Listenership really discourages me, but from now on, I think I will try and not let it bother me. Wow. So thank you so much, Steph, for coming on to Queening with the Empress. And I think that today for my royal thoughts, I am... When we started this show, I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. But listening to the comments that have been sent in by our audience, it leaves me wondering, are we not doing enough? Are we still silenced as women? Are we still silenced as a people that we are so afraid to now tell our stories? You know, when we are so afraid of being shamed, we are so afraid of being body shamed, we are so afraid of being judged, and in the process, we are silent. And then if we are silent, that means somebody else steps in to take that space and tell our stories. But whose stories are they telling if we are silent and we are not telling our stories? So are they telling their own stories and just using us as props? I am a blogger from time to time. I blog about my life. I blog about my things. So I will blog about sex. I will blog about period pain. I will blog about having a child. I will blog about being a last born and all the joys of it. Not. I will blog about loss. So those are things that I write about because those things are personal to me and nobody else could ever tell it the way that I do. And it worries me that we don't share these stories because we want to think that blogging is just about the lights, the camera, the fame, the greatness. And we're not telling these stories that we only have 3 viewers and how that affects us. And we are living in a world where my likes seem to be the thing that says we are worthy or not. So how do we still keep quiet at a time when it is very important for our voices to be heard? So I choose to challenge all the women, young, mature, black, white, blue, green, wherever you are, usemakhaya in the rural areas, usetawuni, uselokishini, ungapi, wherever you are, I choose to challenge you this year to be heard. Use your voice. Are you writing? Are you vlogging? Are you blogging? Are you YouTubing? Are you writing with the Eversharp pen on a notepad or whatever it is? Do not be silenced. Do not be afraid. Even if one person is going to read it, you never know. You could just change that one life. So I choose to challenge you to tell your stories, to take over the narrative of who you are, who your people are, and where you are going, so that there will always be documentation. One day, you never know, one day we will need it. Steph spoke about Anne Frank, and now many years later, we still refer to it as a diary of what was happening during the Holocaust. So you never know. Patience, me, I won't stop. So I choose to challenge you. Don't stop telling your story. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching Queening with the Empress today. I hope you remember to share, that's what we're talking about, to retweet, to everything. But don't forget to subscribe to Site ZW across all social media platforms so that you're always on the pulse with what is going on. Stay safe, everybody. Remember, mask up, sanitize, socially distance, stay home if you must. But best of all, stay safe, everybody. Bye.